Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Yeah, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw. On today's episode, we're talking WWE Smackdown, where the new mega powers of John Cena and LA Knight. Yeah. Looks like they are a thing. They're going to be fighting the Bloodline at Fastlane. We're going to talk about that. And on top of that, we were there to witness history. So we're going to talk about our experiences there at Smackdown. And then we're going to talk about AEW Collision, at least the stuff that sort of pertains to like
Yeah, we'll just kind of do a quick rundown of it. We just had a pay-per-view yesterday. I think most of the show kind of informed the pay-per-view, if memory serves.
Right, exactly.
Existed outside the purview of Wrestle Dream. So
neither of us actually watched the entirety of No Mercy, so we're not going to talk about that necessarily. But Larson, I wouldn't mind getting your thoughts on Dom Mysterio losing his North American title. So maybe we could talk a little bit about the No Mercy goings on, since we know what happened there. There was a couple title changes, some surprises, some interesting stuff. So maybe we can dedicate a little chunk of time, because I know a lot of people are asking, hey, are you guys going to review No Mercy? Well, no, but we can talk about what happened, because it does, impact, so to speak, stuff that happens.
It's wrong company, Steve.
Yeah, well, it's, I used it as a verb, not as a noun or an adjective. So yeah, we're going to talk about all that stuff. But first, and we're going to have a news brief later on today with a lot of the backstage details for what's going on at Wrestle Dream and more Edge stuff. But we got a little preview of that, I guess, with a little bit of Edge news, and specifically, you think you know him, but do you know why he left WWE? Why?
That's the question. Why?
Why? You think you know why?
Why? So shortly after Wrestle Dream, Rated R superstar Edgy Adam Copeland took to Twitter to kind of explain why he went to AEW and made the move away from WWE. That's what he had to say. It's pretty long here, so I'll get through it. Quote, as some of you may not now know, no longer with WWE. My new home is AEW. I'm excited. Whole new roster, some familiar faces that I wanted to work with again, and a whole set of first ever matches, new challenges. If you followed my career, you know that's what I've always been driven by. But first and foremost, I want to address my 25 years with WWE. I love WWE. Appreciate everything the company did for me. Always have, always will. They put me on the map, gave me amazing opportunities, through hard work on both ends, I've been supplied with a wonderful life. Hell, WWE helped me meet the woman I started my family with.
Nice.
Sometimes relationships just grow apart, and I feel like WWE and I have just outgrown each other. I wanted to do more. They didn't have much more for me to do. Simple as that, and that's okay. I'll still be watching and still be supporting all my friends out there. And he talks a bit about tribalism, essentially, and why it's silly. And he concludes, this ride isn't over just yet. Just try to have fun like it should be. Because trust me, I'll be having fun every time I'm out there in an AEW ring. Let's go.
On this day.
That's Batista's theme.
This is an Edge's thing? Okay. Anyways, during the post-Wrestle Dream media scrum, he added these comments as well, and these transcripts come to via our friendos over at Fightful. He said this. Part of coming here, so this is the real reason why he chose AEW, Larson. He says, part of coming here is that I want to contribute. I wanted to help. I just felt like here I'd really be able to do that and have an opportunity to be able to do that. I look at an entire fresh roster of faces and so many talent that I've never laid hands on before. And that to me, as a person who is driven by challenges, that for me was the biggest thing. I've never been in a ring with Samoa Joe or stood in a ring with Sting before tonight. I see Nick Wayne, Swerve. There are so many possibilities for me. At this stage of my career, that is so enticing and exciting. I felt free. It felt fun. I felt the same feeling I had when I would come out for my indie shows when I was Adam Impact or Sexton Hardcastle, which, by the way, this is me editorializing. This is Steve now here. Adam Impact is a great name.
It is.
I kind of feel like
he'd have to. Shame he didn't go to Impact because he could have been Adam Impact again.
He could have been an Adam Impact, yeah. Anyways, he continues. It was this brand new thing I always wanted to do, that feeling. I felt it out there at this stage in my career to feel that's special. 31 years in, to feel that way, that's a gift. All I ever wanted to do, and this feels like an opportunity to come in and not just come in every 3 months. I'm going to be there every week. I'm a full-time guy. I want to do that for as long as that is possible. I feel that's how I can help the most. More than anything, that's what I'm here to do. End quote. Larson, all anybody really wants is to be wanted. And it just seems like, especially with the void being left behind from another longtime veteran of the industry, CM Punk, Adam Copeland fits right in there at AEW. I know Fightful Select also had a report about backstage reactions, which we'll talk about later on in the news brief. But one of them is just, hey, we lost Punk. Now we've got this guy who seemingly has a bit more of a diplomatic head on his shoulder, perhaps, than CM Punk would have. And I could absolutely see him being a natural locker room leader without having to declare that he is a locker room leader. It just seems like a great fit for him.
Yeah, it does. It seems like a much better fit for AEW, whereas I would imagine, I don't know Adam Copeland, never met him, that he would maybe have a far more diplomatic approach to the concept of giving advice.
Yeah.
Like CM Punk, it was like he was walking up to people and unsolicited saying you should do this, 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 and if they don't listen, then he would get resentful and angry about it. And I don't know if that would be Adam Copeland's approach. Like maybe if it's a situation where people approach him, he'll give his 2 cents and take it or leave it, and that's that. Yeah, it always felt like CM Punk, and this goes back years, long before he was ever at AEW, wanted to be seen as locker room leader, mentor to up-and-coming talent. Well, when you kind of elbow your way into that position, some people are going to resent that. I mean, Cody and Chris Jericho told jokes about it.
Yeah.
As it relates to Phil. And as far as I know, Edge, Adam Copeland, doesn't have that reputation stepping into AEW. So it could be, in a lot of ways, just a better fit from a backstage perspective. It's interesting. And it's kind of played out on TV, seemingly, where he talks about how WWE just had nothing for him.
Yeah.
It seemed like they put him in the title picture after he won the Rumble. No design to having him actually win a world heavy, one of the titles at that juncture. And they tried the Judgment Day thing with him. It just felt like a weird fit, and kicked him out. Judgment Day is way better now without him. And after that, especially, they just seemingly didn't really have anything for Edge to do.
It's not terribly surprising when you look at the landscape of WWE right now. And I'm not even sure I can put a finger on why, but he didn't work with Judgment Day. Edge is a really, really technically good promo, like a really good, technically good promo, but his stuff always seemed to lack that thing that made me really care about what he was saying. Like when he was in the Judgment Day, he was like a bad guy, and he would run down, like he was a bad guy in the sort of emo goth thing, but he'd be running down like sports teams, and it's like, that's so, I don't know, it didn't feel interesting or new.
It was pedestrian given the lofty ambitions of what Judgment Day's kind of manifesto was.
Right. And when he was a good guy, it was just, I'm old, I'm gritty. And I thought his best stuff, similar to like The Miz when he's with Maurice, his best stuff was with Beth, because you could see like that chemistry they had was actually incredibly charming. When it's just him, it just didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't care about what he did. I wanted good things for him because everything I've ever heard about Edge, and you can tell he seems like a really good guy, and I want really good people to succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but there was just nothing, man, when you're going out on a greatest hits tour, yeah, it's kind of cool, but there's nothing like watching a band or an act in its relevancy at the time. And with Edge, so much of it just felt like, oh, I'm on borrowed time. Even though he would claim he's on borrowed time, there was never really a sense of urgency about what he was doing. And I wonder if WWE looked at maybe creatively what they could do with him. And they did try a variety of things with him. And I don't know if any of them really landed with the audience. And I don't know what would have. And maybe they were just like, hey, if we're going to keep you around, that's a lot of money that we're investing, because he's a high price guy.
Yeah.
But in terms of the return on investment, like you can get a lot more out of a Dom Mysterio these days than you can out of an Edge. And that's under the WWE way. Now, I'm hoping that with AEW, maybe there will be because he is in a place that has a different philosophy with how wrestlers are able to utilize their creative. There are fresh matchups. There are fresh faces. And maybe, given especially that Christian is like the hottest thing in AEW, and he has found something that really works. They can fold Edge in an interesting way into that. And I hope so, that the guy, he, like I said, he seems like a swell guy, and you just want to be wanted. You want to be used.
You understand that, especially if his, when he came back and he had the limited matches per year in his deal, we thought, okay, that's something that maybe he wanted. He'd pop in and do a program or two and take some time off and come back. But, based on his comments here, it seems like he wanted just right in the deep end.
Yeah.
Throw me back in there. I want to be there every week. And if it's a situation where creatively from WWE standpoint, they're worried about, all right, we have all this stuff already going on, especially of late, that's working. And then now we have to shoehorn potentially Edge in here somewhere to keep him on TV on a regular basis. That might upset. I'm not mean like from a backstage perspective, people actually being mad. I think just in terms of the kind of the creative rhythm they've settled into, it might upset that creative rhythm a bit. And if we can't keep him involved in interesting things at a high level, is it worth the investment it's going to take to keep him here?
There's something to be said also about, sort of as we're talking about why there's no room for Edge in WWE. When somebody has, and you talk about somebody who has literally done it all in WWE, if I'm not mistaken, right? Besides, if you take the hardcore title out of the equation, isn't
He's
he
one
like
of the most total titles in WWE? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When there is literally nothing left for you to do. It's honestly, it's kind of like Randy Orton until he found RK Bro. Like, it was just like, there's nothing left for this guy to do. And with Edge, I just don't know. It does remind me to a degree of, much like some of the booking decisions and the finishes decisions for WWE these days. The characters right now in WWE, much like they were in the Attitude Era, are very much in the now. They're not utilizing a ton of nostalgia acts anymore. The people in WWE that are hot right now are people that have that still have things to accomplish. Cody still has to finish his story. This Bloodline storyline still has to reach some sort of conclusion with Roman Reigns. Jey Uso is fresh on Raw as a solo act, and he's immensely popular as well. Most of the people that I can, when you think, and sort of to that point, when you think of Becky Lynch, for example, somebody who has done literally everything, they had to figure out, what are we going to do with her now? Oh, send her over to NXT, because she never did that before.
Exactly.
And with during the Attitude Era, they were not bringing in nostalgia acts. Where did the nostalgia acts go? They went to WCW. Exactly. And that's sort of the philosophy, or that's sort of the role right now for AEWs. You have this great young crop of talent that eventually is going to make their way to WWF. Exactly. You got the MJF, who's the 1999 version of Chris Jericho. You got the Jade Cargill, who goes over to WWE after, finding a ceiling in AEW. And then you've also got the Moxes, the Danielsons, the Jerichos. Edge fits right in there. Absolutely. In that same sort of WCW philosophy.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to do something that says Trish worked because she had a lot of first evers, and that cage match was a banger. Yeah, it seemed like every time Trish was in a match, they would say, it's the first time Trish has done this.
Yeah.
First time Trish has done that.
Yeah.
So there was like a real distinct purpose in her returning to accomplish those things. And, if Edge was content to do like a Brock Lesnar type schedule where he'd pop in, a couple feuds, leave for months, come back and make, a handsome living, then maybe something could have been worked out where, okay, for 2-3 months at a time, he's involved creatively, but otherwise, 3-4 months afterwards, not. Yeah. Maybe that would have been more workable for WB, but to have him involved on a weekly basis, I don't know, as in this potential nostalgia act, I can see why they were like, that's just not our philosophy right now. I mean, you made the band reference earlier, and it's how many bands 31 years into their career and be like, all right, we're going to reinvent ourselves. And try to be something vital and capture the zeitgeist. How often does that happen?
I remember Billy Corgan, this is probably 5-6 years, whenever he released, I don't know if he's done one since, but he released a Smashing Pumpkins album within the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And I remember reading an interview where he says, I don't get it. This stuff is just as good as the stuff from the late 90s, early 2000s, but people aren't buying it. But it's just as relevant. Well, to him, it is. Artistically, perhaps it is. But once a band is hot, it is difficult, very difficult for them to maintain that for decades afterwards. Like, it's just I can't tell. Like, the last Pearl Jam album, speaking of Edge, the last Pearl Jam album I liked, I think, was Binaural, which was 20 years ago. It was a long time, maybe more than 20 years ago.
Maybe 20 more. Yeah, maybe more than
20 it was. It was like 99, 98, something like that.
Yeah.
That came out.
And usually 31 years into a band's career, what are they doing? They're going out and playing, like, you know, their most beloved album in its entirety. That's like the stage of Edge's in his career. So it's literally, we want the hits.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's generally if keeping the music parallel alive. That's the phase of his career. And if WWE was like, we want you to play the hits, but only like 6 times a year, and Edge is like, no, I'll do something that's interesting, or try to do something interesting and vital and new on a weekly basis. WWE's like, oh no, we're not interested in that. We just want to sell a bunch of merch that has a rated R superstar on there and Edge.
Yeah.
And have you pop in every now and again and get those moments. But stories, we're not interested in that.
And it's funny because somebody here mentioned, I don't know, in our YouTube chat, something about him talking about, I'm a full-time guy, I want to be here every week. Whereas in WWE, he was saying, ooh, I don't have a lot of time left, not a lot of miles left on the body. Maggie pointed out, who knows what WWE told him to say? You know, WWE made Daniel Bryan retire. They made Ric Flair. Vince McMahon called up Ric Flair. Hey, pal, you're going to retire. Retire? Woo! I have like 20 years left. You know? Anyways, but you know, I don't know what WWE is. You know, they might have been like, "Hey, we're going to put you on a part-time deal because that's where we want to use you, and this is going to be your story thread. You're on borrowed time. You don't have a lot of time left." Well, he might be thinking to himself, "Man, this the AEW schedule is such that you work once a week, and you know, maybe he feels reinvigorated from that, and is thinking, man, you know,
and you can see the success that Christian is having." Speaking of someone who's found a way to kind of, you know, Christian has taken like what worked best from the various heel characters he's portrayed in the past, and it's all kind of coalesced. And then you got the angle with, you know, the dead fathers and stuff.
Yeah, and
he's found a way to take like his greatest hits and kind of make it something new.
It's definitely been a reinvention. 1,000% it's been a reinvention. That's one thing that Chris Jericho's really good at. It's just, I think Chris Jericho tries to do it these days too often, so that it's like there's not really a whole
lot of parody of Chris Jericho at this point.
It is. It totally is.
So,
but no, reinvention. You know, that's sort of the lifeblood of professional wrestling. If you want a lengthy career in pro wrestling, you got to reinvent yourself and get that right mix of like the relevant and I'm going to say nostalgia, but your history. Going back to your history. And there's plenty of people in AEW, and there's plenty of situations in AEW, because Edge has been in WWE for 25 years, that he can explore now, which might be, you know, something that he's very interested in. And again, it's just a matter of, he's in WWE. Yeah, Edge, we want you to a degree. AEW, Tony Khan, seemingly, Edge, we really want you. We want you to be here all the time. We need a guy like you. That's very enticing for somebody to say, I need you, you know?
Yeah, totally. Especially when they're like, here's a huge check with a bunch of zeros at the end.
We need you to cash this check.
Yes. It's a very large check. And I'm not talking about like the Publishers Clearinghouse large size check. I'm talking about a check with a lot of zeros at the end. Yes.
Yes. Before we get going talking about the new Mega Powers, I want to point out really quick, man, we're on the road, Larson. We're on the road.
Oh, where are we?
To 198,981 subs. We're at 198,162 right now.
729 away.
So we've got 558 people watching right now. If you're new, if you're fresh here, do us a solid. Hit that subscribe button and the notify bell. Hit that like button. Also, we've got some bonus content. We've got bonus episodes every once in a while that we give to our channel members and our patrons at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. But more important than that, you get the question threads. And more important than that, you get access to the monthly predictions challenge right now. Who's in the lead leading into part 2 of Week of Champions 2?
Donald C. Man.
Donald C. Man is in the lead going into Fastlane, the final event in the second week of Champions.
Yes.
Will Donald Seaman be able to claim Big Blue from Maz, who's currently the Big Blue Predictions champion?
Well, here's the thing. Maz is also in the running. I believe Maz is in the top 5.
Ooh.
Also former champ Fear and Loathing in the top 5 as well, I believe. Even though Donald Seaman had the lead for most of yesterday, there's still a lot of people within striking distance going into Fastlane.
We've got a lot. Yeah, we got 6 or 7 matches left. Couple can go either way. Couple might seem like foregone conclusions, but as we saw at No Mercy this past weekend, things can happen, man. Are you surprised that Dom Mysterio lost his North American title to Trick Williams?
I'm pleasantly surprised that Dom lost because I'm happy for Trick because dude's been working hard. He's super over with that NXT crowd. And I want to watch at least the finish of that match to see the response he got with his win because they've done a really good job with him building the groundwork to build him up. And he's been doing a lot of really good work himself to get to this point. So I was super happy for him.
When I think of a guy like LA Knight, a guy who might not dazzle in the ring necessarily, but has got charisma and a promo that anybody would die for, and he's got a look. Trick Williams is young, so he ain't 40 years old. He's young, so the in-ring is going to continue to get better.
Absolutely.
The promo is there, man.
Oh, the charisma is there.
The charisma is there.
The presentation is there.
The size is there.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised at all. WrestleMania 2028 or so to see him in the main event. This kid is going to go so damn far. You see how he's got that whole crowd there at the almost at Full Sail, at the Performance Center wrapped around his finger. They love him. He has got something special. He really does have something special. And for him to be the guy to take that North American Championship, and I don't know how much you watched or not, but after the main event with Becky Lynch and Roxanne and Tiffany Stratton, they cut backstage, and Trick is there with his title. Carmelo comes in, and Trick's like, "Man, I'm so sorry. You're still him. You're still the man." Being very nice to him. Carmelo could not take his eyes off that North American Championship, man.
Yep, saw that.
He kind of breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, man. It breaks my heart. But I think that Carmelo's going to put this dude over. I really do. And if you have Carmelo Hayes making you, then you're going to go places. They've got something really special with him. So where does that leave Dom's status in the Judgment Day, though? Is it and is this a sign of things to come? Given that there's other titles in the Judgment Day that might be on the line at Fastlane coming up.
Yeah, Fastlane. Yeah, I mean, apparently word is that the tag titles might be on the line at Fastlane against who we don't know for sure. I mean, it'd be pretty interesting within the span of 4 months maybe. Judgment Day went from having all the gold to only Rhea retaining her championship. Imagine if Priest tries to cash in and fails.
Ooh. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow.
That'd be rough. That'd be a rough day for Judgment Day.
Yeah. Is there any chance Dom goes for Ilya's title? Because were you surprised that Ilya won? He beat.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I haven't watched NXT in a while, but I was kind of surprised by that.
I know these days, like being surprised at New Japan stuff because I don't really watch it. I'm gonna do my best while I'm sitting here working and pop on NXT after a Tuesday, and maybe start checking it out just for my own, so I can be informed with these predictions challenges, if nothing else.
I know.
I wasn't hugely surprised at it. I think I had like 2 confidence points on that match because I know he's already an intense guy, but because I did watch a lot of the promos that they did, and this story that Carmelo was always unsure of himself when it came to Ilya. He got the win because Trick fired him up at the end of that last match, but then heading into this one, him and Trick split. And he's starting to doubt himself. And I'm like, is that a recipe for this? Or is he just going to persevere and find himself in this match?
And Trick wasn't ringside for Melo's match at No Mercy, right?
Right. Yeah. And so he ends up, he sees, this was tough too, because I watched this bit. Trick wins. Backstage, Carmelo's still champion. he says, "Hey man, that's awesome, good job, well done." And Trick's like, "Hey, go out, do your thing, we'll go party." And Carmel's like, "Yeah, we'll go do that." I'm like, you're already taking your eye. You're already looking past this. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Ended up taking the loss to Ilya. Didn't Quantum Leap out of there. So I don't know what they're going to do next, but you know, everybody says that No Mercy was a really, really killer premium live event.
That too.
And they got a lot of momentum there in NXT right now. So
they do. Yeah,
so
there's
interesting to see.
A lot of people talking about how good the main event was between Tiffany and Becky.
I need to
really
watch that one still. I've heard
match.
it was killer, and I totally plan on watching that later on today.
Yeah. All right, we can talk about SmackDown a bit. We were there in the crowd. You can see us at one point before John Cena makes his entrance.
They had that, crane camera just staring at us.
Staring right at us.
Yeah, a couple things to point out first, Larson. We were asked in advance, we're going to do a meet and greet, and we sort of had a half-assed idea for a meet and greet. We found like a picture of a place that seemingly doesn't exist near Golden One, and we said, meet us there. And then like we couldn't find the place, so we just didn't. We were like, you know what? Just find us, just
we'll just go in and we'll sit.
Yeah.
We got in early, and a couple people's kids that came up and said hi, so that was nice.
Yeah, a couple people. I saw a couple as we were walking out. I saw a couple people like notice us in my periphery and start to make a motion, but then I didn't look over at them to meet their eyes. And so I apologize for that, but we're just trying to get out of the venue. We're not good at look, we've done a lot of meetups in the past, I'll be honest, they're kind of overrated. We're not special, dude. We're not special.
No, we're not. We're not. Especially these days, post pandemic. My ability to socialize is like a tenth of what it used to be.
Right. Yeah. My meter's way down. My socialization HUD.
Yeah.
Is just dead. So, look, we'll always tell you guys if we're going to be at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Like for example, December 2nd, I think it is, Action Coast Wrestling Resurgence 2. The next chapter of Resurgence. We're gonna be there. I don't even know where it is exactly.
I don't know either.
We'll find out and we'll let you guys know. You want to come out of that? Meet us there. Cool. I'll talk to people.
Heck yeah.
If you see us at a wrestling show, I'll talk.
Absolutely.
But I don't really want to stand around and wait for people to awkwardly amble towards us.
Yeah.
I'm in that phase of my career.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've gone through the meetup phase. Now we're at the come find us phase.
Yeah. Pretty soon, in 2 years, we'll be in the leave us alone phase.
Yeah, 2 years will be in the don't bother phase. You don't want none of this phase. You're liable to get spat on phase. Get away.
I'll get hissed at, huh?
You'll get hissed at.
Oh my goodness! All right, so we could talk SmackDown. It was a fun show. We as expected, we got LA Knight as John Cena's partner for this tag match against Jimmy. Yeah, and Solo. I love Jimmy is just kind of like making himself tribal chief.
Oh, he's my favorite tribal chief. I think my heart,
tribal chief is gone. He's just stepping right in.
In my heart, he's replaced Roman as top tribal chief. Yeah. He's the best because he's so bad.
He's inept.
Awful. And I loved, I didn't watch the broadcast, but like after he got slapped by Mia Yim.
Oh, that was so good.
Watching Solo try his damnedest not to laugh was my favorite thing. It really was. It really was.
Yeah, because Jimmy sold that like, he got punched by Butterbean right in the face,
Yeah. Oh, man, it was fantastic.
He bumped really for it, and his reaction to it was so great. Yeah, and Solo was trying not to laugh. It was awesome. It was awesome. He tries to be the tribal chief, but time and again, he just gets humiliated.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like, that's really good. So like and apparently John Cena, I think actually had like travel issues getting there. I think he was probably supposed to be there at the beginning.
Oh, maybe.
But they did the final segment with him. Bloodline comes in. He's got his contract. He's like, I need a partner. Bloodline comes out. They beat him down. And then, as we figured, LA Knight comes down to make the save. We all freak out. Even though it was expected, we all freak out.
Yeah.
And he signs the thing. New mega powers. Cena, who was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got myself.
He was
a kid on Christmas,
marking out huge,
big time. So I mean, clearly they're going to win. This is
Jimmy's eating this pin.
This is Jimmy's bloodline, which is just like, the most chump version of it. They're going to lose at Fastlane, right?
Yeah, and that's probably going to be the thing that motivates in storyline Roman to come back, be like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, right. He was like, I was enjoying Umbrella service. Figured we can all take a break, let things settle down. Jay's over on Raw, so I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. And then Jimmy, I didn't think you were just going to step in. Heyman's calling me, blowing up my phone all the time. Call Roman Reigns. Leave me alone. How about that?
Yeah.
It's like us at a meet and greet.
Figure it out for yourself, wise man.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's sort of going to be maybe most confidence points there because neither of those guys. I mean, Cena can eat a pin these days. I don't think he's going to though.
No, I don't think he's going to because I don't know if they want LA Knight at this juncture taking too many losses, whether as a solo wrestler or in a tag team. So
yeah, I think you're right. I have
a hard time believing he's going to lose that match.
Yeah, absolutely. Elsewhere on the show, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much done with those Street Profits. They don't have what it takes. And they are desperate because they like those suits. And maybe they already spilled some like mustard stains on them. I don't know.
Can't send them back. If they're tailored suits, how do you know if you can take it back to begin with?
If it's anything like my, laundry pile, mustard stains, some mayo stains, some other mayo stains, you know what I mean? Oh, what?
Let's get into that.
Disgusting.
That was too much.
Anyway, so Street Profits. Oh, man. We're like, hey, we really like these suits. We want to be part of this life because we're tired of wearing that indie gear. Please, Bobby, take us back. And he's like, no, you're kind of trash. So they prove their point by taking out Santos Escobar, who Rey Mysterio and him put on just a killer match.
Mm-hmm.
Santos if you look closely, Santos looked like he was about to throw on Rey.
He did. He was devastated.
He was. And right before, like he had the look on his face for a split second, Street Profits attack.
Mm-hmm.
And that sets, I guess, up a match with them. Aren't they doing a match now at Fastlane?
At Fastlane, yeah, as Bobby and the Street Profits against the LWO, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting to see if that's where we get Santos. I do like, though, that they're not launching right into the Santos turn.
Mm-hmm.
You get a hint of it, but then we're going to push it to let this Street Profits thing play out and see how he's able to square his loss against Rey with, okay, but these guys are coming after us. Where are my loyalties going to lay,
Yeah. And, if they take another LWO, that is, to Bobby and the Street Profits, which seems likely, is that going to drive a further wedge between Rey and Santos, especially if there's some miscommunication there between the two of them at the finish?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities there for them to split. Also, we got our women's title bout for Fastlane booked. So Charlotte had a match against Bayley as she was making her entrance. Or was that last week she said that? Where she said, she said when after I beat Bayley, guess what? I won a title shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The surprise of nobody. So she won, and then Bayley then decided, Asuka runs out, and Bayley says, all right, well, it's going to be a triple threat now. Charlotte, Asuka, Io for the title at Fastlane.
Yeah, and Io's like, why would you do that? Like, that's just, now I don't have to get pinned. Champion, I don't have to get pinned or submitted in a triple threat. Advantage. Right, exactly. So that should be, that's going to be a great match. Regardless if it was going to be just a straight up rematch between Asuka and Io, add Charlotte Flair to the mix, sort of protect everybody in that case. Anyways, I fully expect Io to hold on to that title.
I would suspect so, yeah.
Probably file for a while longer, to be honest with you.
Indeed.
But it should be a good match. Say what you will about Charlotte. She is a good wrestler, and in my opinion, she makes most matches better. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We could jump into it. Show opened up with Jimmy Uso and Solo. I'll say this about Jimmy Uso's new theme. Sounds much better live than it does on television.
All the themes do. Have you noticed that? Like because you can like hear everything. It's like, oh, I never noticed this part before.
But also you could I don't know what it is about the TV presentation. Maybe it's because I watch it on my computer through speakers on my monitor here.
It's probably gonna be it.
You don't get the thump. Like there's no low end on the TV broadcast at all.
Yeah.
Again, it might just be my setup. I don't have the tribal chief set up in terms of technology here in my viewing station. But
well, the funny thing is, nobody has the tribal chief set up. Nobody does. Especially not Seth freaking Rollins.
That's correct.
He's probably sitting there in his little rinky-dink speakers too, man.
Probably.
Probably.
So anyways, Jimmy and Solo would come to the ring with Heyman. Heyman starts out, says, ladies and gentlemen, my name is, and the crowd boos.
Good crowd in Sacramento too, man.
It was a good crowd. Full crowd too. It was packed to the rafters. Says, my name is Paul Heyman. Tonight, a rare opportunity. I don't have to do this into my phone. I get to make this proclamation live here on Smackdown in this hellhole known as Sacramento.
Ouch.
Oh, come on. We weren't quibbling with what the wise man had to say.
Stop me when I'm telling lies.
Says, we acknowledge your tribal chief, and so do each and every single one of you. Put up the ones. Why do we acknowledge our tribal chief? It is in his name. Last week, the second greatest of all time, John Cena, took a beating at the hands of the Bloodline that John Cena hasn't taken in a decade. To wit, ladies and gentlemen, I bring your attention to the Bloodline version of the Zapruder film. So he throws to a video recap of all that happened last week. The AJ beatdown from Solo, the splash, Cena getting destroyed as well. And Heyman continues, not that I want to get John Cena into John Cena's business, but a little birdie told me that he's having transportation issues tonight. While he is expected here, you can't see John Cena because at this moment, John Cena is not here at SmackDown. You know who else isn't here? AJ Styles. He's in the hospital watching us. And Jimmy first does the Roman thing where he puts his hand out real slow. Heyman's like, what the heck? And then Jimmy just snatches the mic from him.
He just snatches it from him. So he says, Sacramento, the Bloodline is now in your city. The wise man, you are too kind. Yeah, put your ones up. Sabu style, though. You got to do it Sabu.
No, Macho Man style.
Well, I do it Sabu style. So he says, the real reason John Cena isn't here tonight is because he's scared. Scared of me, Jimmy Uso. He said, scared of me, Jim Uso.
Yeah.
He says, John, he's smart. Stay far away from the Bloodline. If not, we're going to take care of you like we did AJ Styles, the face that built the place. And then all of a sudden, the lady behind me says, who's that guy? Because Carl Anderson jumps the barricade.
Or, yeah, a fan from the crowd. Who knows?
And he attacks Solo, trips up Jimmy, and lariats him over the top rope. Anderson screams, it's personal now, and it's OC business, and for either of them to get in the ring. Solo looks to Jimmy and says, you better handle this before I handle it for you. And then Jimmy says, I got this, as we go to breaks. And then we had Jimmy Uso versus fan from the crowd. I mean, Carl Anderson. Who's that guy? I don't know. I've never, dude, honestly, like, look, I love Carl Anderson, but that guy killed this crowd dead. This crowd was hot. It was hot. And then he shows up and people are like, is that some like a weird Stone Cold impersonator or something? Who's
I know.
That guy?
Yeah. Is that Gilbert?
Is that Carl Anderson from the 2012 G1 Finals?
No, it's not. Carl Anderson from 2023.
A lot different.
A lot different. This is a decent enough match. It was very short, and Jim Uso got the win, predictably. Super kick, splash. Then afterwards, they keep fighting. Solo gets in, hits Carl Anderson with a Samoan spike. So Jimmy rolls the apron, and Solo leaves as well. And then Mia Yim walks out to the ramp, meeting the Bloodline there. She slaps the hell out of Jimmy.
Because he's just mugging in her face.
Oh,
that's what happens. Look at your guy. Whoop.
And he bumps, falls. Solo's there trying not to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Heyman just embarrassed. It was great.
It was pretty great, yeah. It was
great. So then we go to commercial. I guess we don't go to commercial yet. Kathy's backstage with Santos. She asks, about his U.S. title match tonight. He says, my mind is focused. My stomach has serious butterflies. This match is about Corazon. Heart. It's about the heart. Says, my dream to face Rey Mysterio for his title, and I have worked my entire life for this. Now with the world watching, I have a chance to make this dream come true, and I'll never stop fighting for my dreams. Rey is in for the fight of his life, and may the best man win.
That's right, yeah. And I'm going to be pissed off if I lose. So then Lashley joins the Grayson Waller show in a second here. But first, backstage, Jimmy's super mad. He throws a chair, yells at one of the stagehands, then pushes another guy hard to the ground.
That was great. Yeah. He pushed the hell out of him.
He did. He's like, oh, you see what happened out there? Solo just looks at him, and Heyman says, relax. And then they go on, and he says, call Roman Reigns to his phone. He doesn't just say it. He says it to his phone.
Yeah.
Then we had the Grayson Waller effect with Bobby Lashley. Grayson Waller had a hell of a shirt on.
Oh, it was bright pink. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was awesome. He says, what a wild night so far. He says, John Cena may be the greatest of all time, but he's not the greatest at being on time. Grayson Waller is a pretty funny guy.
He is.
Between his little quips and his social media stuff, he's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I did like it when he was talking to Lashley before Lashley was making his entrance. Actually, while Lashley was making his entrance, what was Waller doing?
Push-ups.
He was down there doing some push-ups to get a little pump on. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. He says, but no fear, I'm here once again to save the show. My guests keep getting bigger week after week, and my guest this week has done it all in WWE. But as a talent scout, he's struggling. But it's okay. Tonight he gets the one thing he's missing most, the Grayson Waller rub. And then he introduces Lashley. So Waller's doing push-ups in the ring to get that pump on, as he says. Lashley walks out. He gets in the ring and poses. He's got sort of like a fancy version of like a Mr. Rogers outfit. He's got a nice sweater.
Yeah, it's
going.
like a cardigan, but like a really nice one.
Mm-hmm. He's got his
that
glasses
tied in the front.
on. Yeah. He says, I told you they keep getting bigger. He says, I don't know how he fits in these suits. He says, I'm so glad you're here. I know it's been a tough week. Your boys, the Street Profits, had a devastating loss on SmackDown. And Bobby says, well, you know, I made a mistake. I was prospecting, trying to find the next big thing, and I thought they had enough pride to do what has to be done. But I was wrong, so back to the drawing board. Waller says, well, if you're looking for a tag team that'll do whatever it takes to get the job done, who has unbridled charisma, maybe a team that's undefeated like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And Bobby's like, I know all about Austin Theory. I'm going to pass. So Waller says, he's changed. If you get to know him, he's a real good bloke. That's when the Street Profits come out. They're not happy. They're pretty sad. They head out. They got some fancy suits on. Lashley just stands up, sits back down. They get in the ring. Bobby says, I don't want to hear reasons or excuses. You want something out of me? Prove it. And then he walks off, and they're just like, oh, man, what do we have to do now? And then Bobby's just like, you guys need to prove it. So Waller says, this is awkward. Let's bring it back. And then I think at that point he says, light the beam. Here's Austin Theory.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And so we see Dragon Lee in the crowd because he was the special guest ref at the No Mercy. Mm-hmm. And evidently he's coming to SmackDown.
Seems like it.
And then we have To the Moon, Cameron Grimes versus Austin Theory. You know, I remember reading a report from one of those Twitter accounts saying, oh, Cameron Grimes, he's going to get a push to the moon.
Prime for a massive push.
Right. Nah. It was a 2-minute match. This is one of the more bizarre things, man, because he's got way too much talent to be doing nothing with them.
I know.
But clearly he needs a refresh.
Yeah.
Because
they got to drop the Stonks thing. That was an NXT.
You've got that same theme song that talks about like the Stonks. You've got the Tron. And I could just imagine, like, you know, dude, most of the time when you have like an enhancement guy or whatever, or depth guy, for the crowd that's there in the arena, the Tron and the presentation is kind of all you have to figure out, okay, who's this guy? Is he like, a repo man? Is he, just a badass martial arts guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
When Cameron Grimes comes out, well, yeah, is he a Mountie? Is he an Elvis impersonator? When Cameron Grimes comes out, Larson, if you're Joe average in the crowd,
yeah,
Sacramento probably Joe below average. That was a joke. I'm from here. When you see Cameron Grimes and his whole presentation, what are you thinking?
I mean, if I'm not familiar with his work in NXT,
right.
I'm thinking a couple things. Mm-hmm. Who is this guy? Second, what's with the Stonks?
Yeah, like why are there stock symbols on his Tron?
And why is there the graph? It's got the line graph and the bar graph. It's got both graphs.
But he's got kind of like a bluegrass type rap song.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what is happening?
North Carolina, and it's all about making money.
Right. Is he like a coal guy? Like what is this? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good point.
But like, you don't
know the industry
coal
he's in.
Stocks. I don't know. But what does the stock have? There's no visuals of him like, doing whatever coal people do. Mining it.
So you got to go underground. You have to go into the earth.
Yeah. I don't. Do they have like big? They probably have like machinery to do that now.
Oh, I think so. But still, I think it's still pretty dangerous work.
Oh, yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would know what this guy is all about. I'd be like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
So he needs, just go back to 2017, 2018, whenever he showed up in NXT. Just go back in time. Give him the old-timey hat, the Red Dead Redemption
most prized
gimmick.
possession. It's like Laszlo with his witch hat.
Yeah, with the butthole in it, yeah.
With the witch butthole on it, yeah.
Yeah. So they need to do a something.
But then the question is, who would be the Nick Kroll, the Cameron Grimes, Laszlo then?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Who would he feud with over the hat?
Another fashionista, Ashanti Adonis.
Okay.
There you go.
Ooh, it was a long night for Ashanti, wasn't it?
It was. He had a dark match against. He lost the dark match against. Who's the dark match with?
How can I not remember this?
Oh my God! It's on the tip of my tongue. He lost. Oh, that's killing me right now.
Yeah, and they got. Mr. Dope forgot
Dope
too.
says I forgot too. Oh man, it was somebody I liked, somebody that I was like kind of rooting for, but then I also like Ashanti.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, he would be Ashanti.
Who is it? Gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Here, let me look at the SmackDown roster. And
it's killing me right now. So, anyways, yeah. So we have Cameron Grimes. This is a really, really short match.
Yeah.
Waller distracts Cameron Grimes as Theory pushes Grimes into the ring post.
Oh, it was Butch.
Pete Dunne. Butch. It was Butch. That's
it was
right.
Butch. Dangum Q says Ridge, and I was like, oh no, close. Butch.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, Waller distracts Grimes. Theory hits A-Town down to get the win. Theory goes over to Dragon Lee, gets in his face. They have a shoving match, and officials get between them. It's announced later on that I think him and Theory are going to have a match next week on SmackDown.
Yeah. After that, Kayla interviews Rey Mysterio. She asks him about the U.S. title match. He says, LWO is family. They will always be family. I know how hard he has worked. Hell, I even used to watch his father wrestle. I have nothing but love and respect for him, but be careful what you wish for. Whenever I step in the ring, I expect the best from my opponent because I will bring my best tonight. I'm giving you the fight of your life. So that match was next.
Yep. But before that, we had backstage Jimmy's beating up Ashanti Adonis as B-Fab screams at him to stop. Halfway through, he starts yelling, I'm stopping. And then Jason Jordan and Kenny Dykstra come in and break it up. And then Jimmy screams at Solo to get him and gives Ashanti the spinning solo through the table as Jimmy daps him up. Then we had Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio. I felt like the first half of this match was a bit too much of the feeling out phase, which I guess makes sense for their relationship. Like, oh, we want to do this a bit more exhibition-ish, before it gets chippy. But they were doing some big moves down the line, man.
Yeah, they were. Most definitely were. In the end, though, it wasn't a big move that finished the match. It was a roll-up. Rey counters a Phantom Driver with an inside cradle to get the win, and Santos just absolutely devastated. And he did a great job showing that he, the character Santos Escobar, devastated.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it looked like he was on the verge of getting up and just whoop-ha, punching Rey. But before that could happen, Street Profits run out, trips up Santos. They take out Rey as well. So Lashley comes out and starts smiling, impressed with what Street Profits are doing. So Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro come to the ring. So Cruz del Toro runs by Lashley, and Lashley notices out of his periphery, sees Wilde running. Whoop-ha!
Oh, my
His back elbow just drops Wilde.
Drops him cold. It was
just
kind of
annihilates
awesome.
him.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. So then the Street Profits hit Del Toro with their finish, and then Lashley's like, you're back in.
You're good.
You're in the good graces again.
Yeah. After that, we had an announcement of Jade Cargill signing, a little video package they did with all the press that she was getting, making a big deal out of that. And then we had Charlotte coming out for her match, and we see John Cena in a gray, I think it was a Mustang, speeding to the parking lot. He gets his contract. He has his contract with him. His
folio.
His leather folio
in hand.
Yeah. Then we had an Elton Prince Road to Recovery video. Did they show this in the arena? I think that's when I got up to get some food. Okay.
They did.
Was this funny? Was it good stuff?
It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Same as, okay.
Yeah. And I think at the end of this, it was essentially, all right, he's ready to go. But then you got Ridge and Butch watching on a monitor backstage. And Butch says, you should have broken his leg.
Mm-hmm.
And Ridge says, I should have flipped him head first over the ropes because they weren't happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like Elton Prince. You don't like Pretty Deadly.
They don't like him.
Don't like him.
After that, we had Charlotte versus Bayley. Of course, these guys got terrific chemistry. They're terrific. Mm-hmm. So on the way to the ring, Charlotte says, Bayley, what happened to you? You were one of the 4 horsewomen. Now you're happy being on the sidelines with EO carrying your championship. You become a stepping stone while I'm still the measuring stick. Doesn't matter, though. You're just in my way. When I beat you, I'm challenging EO to a women's title match at Fastlane. And so, of course, this match goes off. Towards the finish, Charlotte goes for a moonsault, but Bayley drags her off. Bayley traps Charlotte in the ropes and knees her in the ribs, and then hits a somersault senton for a 2 count. Bayley struts a little bit, hits a few chops, and runs right into a spear. Charlotte gets the win. And then after the match, Bayley's like, cut the music. Tonight I said I was going to end you, and that's what we're going to do. And they surround her. Asuka comes out to make the save. She makes her way down, gets in the ring, chases them off. Asuka screams in Japanese at Damage Control. And Bayley says, you want a triple threat match with you, Io, and Charlotte at Fastlane? Fine, you've got it. And Io says, she never said that. And Bayley says, yeah, that's what she wants. God damn it, Bayley.
I know. I thought we were past this. Then John Cena comes to the ring.
John Cena.
He's got his contract, his folio in hand. He says, we got to be serious. He says, Sacramento, I hear you out there. I know you hear me. I know you hear me because last week I said I came back to compete and that I won a match. The Bloodline didn't take kindly to that. They left me knocked out last week, but they also left me with this. This is what I asked for. Signed contract for a match against the Bloodline at Fastlane. Lukewarm, I know, because there is a problem. I don't have a partner. So tonight is very important because I have a choice. I can rip up this contract and act like this never happened, or I could stand and I could fight. Sacramento, what choice do you think the man who wears never give up on his heart is going to make? And, of course, you and I are like, rip it up. Be
rip
smart,
up the contract.
Sean. Be smart.
Yeah.
He says.
Like, you got a lucrative movie career. Fight. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, damn right. I'm here to say I'm going to honor this contract. If I don't find a partner at Fastlane, I'll fight them myself in a 2-on-1 handicap match. So this brings out the true tribal chief, Jimmy Uso.
Throw up your ones.
And Jimmy says, look who finally showed up. John. Talking about Fastlane. You did see what Solo and I did to everybody backstage tonight, right? If you team up with Cena, you're going to get got by the Bloodline. So, John, you're not making it to Fastlane. So they get in the ring. Starts brawling. Once again, Cena's looking for an AA. Eats a super kick from Jimmy. And they start clearing off the announce table. Put Cena on there. And Jimmy doesn't go up for the splash. And Solo's like, no, I got this. So as he's heading up the top rope, L.A. Knight's music hits. L.A. Knight, yeah.
L.A. Knight.
He runs down the ring, looks like he's got some new Timberlands. Fresh Tims. He takes out Jimmy. He takes out Solo. He picks up the contract, licks the pen a couple times, signs it, hands it to Cena, and Cena is like losing his mind. He's so happy.
Yeah.
Ecstatic.
Yep.
Like the happiest I've ever seen John Cena.
Oh, yeah. He was super marking out. Yeah.
Oh, huge. Huge.
Yep. So there it is, the new mega powers.
Indeed.
So what do you think, the chemistry, the relationship between LA Knight and John Cena is going to be like?
Well, it was strained already once. We saw that when Cena was reffing the match with The Miz. Is one of your lights flickering back there?
It is.
Well, it is Halloween season, so maybe you're just trying to, a little spooky. Huh?
No, I can probably, if you give me like 10 seconds, if you want to just go ahead and
start talking about collision. You're going to swap a light out?
No, I'll see. I just either need to screw it a little harder, I think. Let's find out.
Could be. All right, put your glove on in case it's hot. So then, we had Collision on Saturday. We're not going to go too in-depth with this one since most of it kind of informed what happened on Wrestle Dream. So the show opened, well, I guess, let me see here. Anything kind of outside. Well, the Kingdom got the win over the Best Friends. We had a wiener punch. That was cool.
No, it's just a faulty light.
No. Oh, look at that. So Collision, not a whole lot happened on there that wasn't related to Wrestle Dream. However, the Kingdom getting that win over the Best Friends, got some a wiener punch, assisted pile driver. That's fun. They're really playing up this Kenny Chris Jericho can they coexist thing on Collision that didn't really ever come into play during their tag match at Wrestle Dream. Julia Hart got another win before Wrestle Dream. Righteous got a win. It's a momentum show, pretty much.
Yeah.
Although the Tony Storm Portrait of a Star segment, the second one of those was fantastic.
That was really good. I really like what they're doing with the Kingdom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, it's just, hey, guys, goof it up a little bit. People will think you're funny, and you'll get over. Yeah, geez, I'm trying to think if there's any.
The opening battle between Juice and Andrade was really good.
That was really, really good. Yeah, and that wasn't really connected to the pay-per-view.
Not really, but it was fantastic bout. So I guess we just jump into it. So we had the typical show open promos from the team of Starks, Big Bill, and Aussie Open, and then another one from FTR, Wheeler Yuta, and Danielson. And then we had our first bout, Juice Robinson, Bang Bang Gang, guns up, Steve.
Guns up. This one. Yeah, you got to do that one. There you go. There we go. We got it. We got it.
Guns up, taking on Andrade. Hard-hitting bout. They gave it tons of time. It's probably like a 15-minute match. At one point, the Guns try to interfere. Ref spots them, tosses them from ringside. And that leads to Andrade ducking a leg lariat, hitting the huge back elbow, gets a 2 there, and then follows with the hammerlock DDT to get the win.
That is correct. After that, we had a Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho interview. A showcase for Chris Jericho here. He says,
"Can they coexist?" That's pretty much all it is.
That's all it is. He's like, I don't like you. You don't like me. This Callis family beef, though, is bigger than we have. But is it really? Like Jericho's just be like, look, fine, Sammy. I guess I deserve that. You're going your own way. What do I care? You know what I mean?
Move on.
Like he did the same thing to Shawn Michaels. So it's like, oh, okay. All right. Hey, good on you, kid. Good on you. Go do your thing.
Fair play, all that type stuff, you know?
Yeah. So anyways, tonight they're going to fight Gates of Agony.
Then we got Tony Storm, Portrait of a Stars. Again, the second part of the sit-down interview with RJ City.
It's awesome.
And RJ says, do you think you're at the peak of your career? And Tony says, what, now? I'm always at my peak. But call me when you've had one. And then she takes RJ's hand. It says, but honestly, this business can be a cruel mistress. I do miss the old days. It was a simpler time. Slap a backward hat on and slap a pie in somebody's face, and they loved you. Now it's, what have you done for me recently? Well, pardon me for being a star. If the world forgotten what a star looks like, then chin up, tits out. I'll just have to remind them.
And she had taken RJ City's hand during that last part, and then she finishes her little catchphrase, looks down and says, are you coming on to me? And is like, no, I'm not. It's like, am I not good enough for you? It's really funny stuff.
Yeah.
After that, we had the Kingdom versus the Best Friends. Of course, it's Neck Health Awareness Month, and so they're.
Are you neck strong, Steve?
Yeah, I'm neck strong. I'm good. Yeah, But the only true test is if you get punched in the wiener, you take a pile driver. I don't really know, like, what is that supposed to make your neck better or worse or promote neck health? I don't know what that's supposed to do.
It's unclear because Mike Bennett's saying he's doing the wiener punch and pile driver to promote neck health.
Right, but that seems like it would do the opposite.
And that's why it's funny. But yeah, pile driver is terrible for the neck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So anyways,
the Kingdom will come to the ring with their luggage. They get the win, wiener punch, pile driver. And then Bennett does a winded promo, calls for the mic, and just says, wiener punch, pile driver, Roddy Strong. David says, hey, Mike, we got to go. Yeah. We got to get back to join Roddy. This message, though, I'm about to say is for one person. It's for Adam Cole. Supposed to have doctor's appointments this week. Supposed to postpone your surgery. This is really important. Meet us at Roddy's house right now if we've ever meant anything to you. And they get out of the ring, grab their luggage, and like speed walk up the ramp.
They have to be at Roderick Strong's house right
Roddy,
now.
Just wait. We're only 6 hours away.
Meet us there right now. It's so stupid, but it's amazing.
It really is. It's great.
After that, Don Callis was talking to Prince Nana. And Marvez walks up to him and is like, hey, guys, what are you doing? And Callis walks off, and Nana says, if you dig deep into the universe, you'll find something that is very unique. And tonight, once Gates of Agony get through with Omega and Jericho, they're in the money, or we're in the money. We had a really cool Julia Hart video package, and then she has a match with Vert Vixen. And she beats that quickly. She beats Vert Vixen, and then she's like, Statlander, get out here, Statlander. And then Statlander comes out, comes to the ring with the best friends. Brody stands between Statlander and Hart. The best friends step up to him. Chris and Julia push aside their crews, and they leave the ring. Statlander tells Hart to hit her. Instead, Hart rolls out of the ring. Statlander gets on the mic, says, tomorrow you're going to be forced to be in the ring with me. The clock is ticking, and a Wrestle Dream, your time is up. I wish that she would just use lyrics from BG songs, because that's like, the name of her finish. And she's got more than a woman on her stuff. Yeah.
Oh, agreed. So like in this instance, what would be the...
she said, Julia Hart, let me tell you something. You can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a man's woman, no time to talk.
Yeah, she should have said, Julia, Wrestle Dream for you is going to be a New York mining disaster like 1941.
that is fairly obscure. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're going to be up a stream like Islands in the Stream. Wasn't that written by the Bee Gees?
That was a Barry Gibb song. He produced like a whole Barbra Streisand album too.
Oh, I know. Yeah, when the Bee Gees their popularity was waning. Oh, I'm just going to go and make a bunch of stuff with other people.
Yeah,
and then he did it. Probably made a lot more money doing that.
Probably did. He probably made a ton of money writing songs for other people and producing them.
I got rich. After that, we had a Claudio Josh Barnett video package. Claudio issuing the open challenge. He's like, I don't need to be a champion to be a champion. I can feel like a champion. I can walk like a champion, but I don't need a championship to do those champion things. Yeah. And then Barnett's like, you can beat me at Wrestle Dream. And then he did. It was a good match. It was a really good match. And then Barnett had Antonio Inoki's proxy, evidently. He says, Inoki would love you. Claudio's like, cool, man.
Cool, man. After Chris Statlander beat Julia Hart at Wrestle Kingdom, she said, you know what this was for you?
What?
Tragedy!
Tragedy!
Oh, my goodness. Where else in the wrestling podcasting world do you can get references to BG songs? I don't think anywhere else.
Tragedy! Yeah, man. I'm sure you've got some more there, so feel free to load the rest of the podcast.
I started a joke.
That's what Julia said at the end of her match.
Crying.
Oh, man. Then we had Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega versus the Gates of Agony. Let's see here. So Jericho puts Khan in the walls of Jericho. He taps out. He tasks me. And then Jericho and Omega shake hands after the bout. Jericho gets on the mic, winded promo. Says, after what you just saw, we prove we can coexist. And then Kenny says, coexisting isn't part of a scheme to become tag champs. It's about Don Callis, who when I was brainwashed, I didn't listen to the fans. But now I've seen the light, and all it took was $30,000 on a flight to Japan to hurt the ones I loved. But Kenny, you were the one filming them. He says, so tomorrow at Wrestle Dream,
why didn't he step in, Steve?
Man, it's a question for Kenny Omega. I don't know. Maybe it's the brainwashing thing. It's like what was that all? The Maltese Falcon? Wasn't that the brainwashing one? No, that was the actual
Manchurian
bird.
Candidate. You're talking
Manchurian Candidate. Yeah. Boy, that was a dark movie. Anyways.
Yeah, it is.
Jericho adds that tomorrow, Kenny, Kota, and the Ocho versus the Callis family. Call Sammy the ultimate Judas. He starts reciting his own lines, not BG
He did.
lines.
He sang Judas.
Yeah.
No.
And he's going to ruin
bust out with Massachusetts. No, it was the Judas.
And then
we got a Righteous video package.
Brandon
Slide guitar and Dutch doing the tongue thing. Then we got a Darby Christian video package, and then we got the Righteous defeating Travis Williams and Judas Icarus quickly. And then the Righteous have a promo afterwards. Vincent calls out Cole a liar. said they're going to be the Ring of Honor tag champs. Make sure the devil leaves on one hoof, just like his brochacho. And then
Hoof.
Dutch brings out a chunk of wood, puts it underneath
Judas.
Which Judas?
I
Judas,
think it
yeah,
was
his feet. And then Vince hits it with a chair.
Yeesh. Should have done the thing from Misery with the sledgehammer.
With sledgehammer.
You put that block of wood between their legs. And
Gosh.
pretty rough, huh?
That was brutal.
Anyways, after that, we had an Eddie Kingston Shibata video package, followed by a TMDK acclaimed interview. I did not see this, but TMDK says
Oh,
they're
so
back.
still have it with their match.
Okay, so they did that. And then we had the main event, which had another botchy finish here. Aussie Open, Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus FTR, Bryan Danielson, and Wheeler Yuta. So there was a spot that was the finish where Starks and Big Bill hit that, like, he holds him up spear combo thing.
Yeah, it was like a choke slam spear combo.
Yeah, and then Starks goes for the pin on Dax, and then Cash was supposed to break it up, but, like, I guess he was too late, although it really didn't seem like. Aubrey was just like, I'm counting 3 here.
Yeah.
She counted all 3.
Maybe Cash was actually a little early in there trying to break it up. Maybe it was supposed to be a situation because he was being held back a little bit where he was supposed to get in there right as her hand hit 3 or right after. So he's like, oh, I'm just late. But it looked like he tried to break it up right as her hand was about to hit the 3 count. And so he's like, come on. Then he had to protest. It looked clunky. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the go home math here. Like, do you think Starks and them were supposed to win? Like, it doesn't really matter.
No, not really.
I would think the good guys are probably supposed to win this.
Well, I don't know because, yeah, maybe. Well,
they're in Seattle and it's like the last thing of a show.
I know, but then you want Danielson to get his win in his singles match against Zack Sabre Jr. and have the huge hometown win there, not in the tag match. FTR was going to win at the pay-per-view, so having Aussie Open's team get the win here gives them momentum heading into that. I mean, Starks was going to beat Wheeler regardless. So.
Yeah, I wonder if Aussie Open was supposed to get the pin on Wheeler Yuta, maybe
Coriolis or something like that after that.
Maybe. Otherwise, I have no idea how this is supposed to go. FTR hits Big Bill.
Ricky Starks got a good win on TV.
I bet Big Bill was supposed to take this pin. He was supposed to take a Shatter Machine. Maybe not. I don't know.
No,
we'll never know.
It was a little clunky, but I didn't necessarily have a quibble with who won the match. I thought that made
no, because it seemed clunky, and I didn't know if that was supposed to be the finish of the match. And if that wasn't the finish of the match, then I wonder who was supposed to win. I don't give a shit. The match didn't mean a damn, but I was just sort of curious. Anyways, so that was Collision. Larson, would you like to answer some questions?
Sure.
Or would it be a tragedy if we didn't?
EG song.
And when the night in the morning sun, I can watch me in the morning rain. And it comes to me all the suffering.
How deep is your love?
How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn.
Because we're living in a world of...
Fry Daddy says, besides Adam making his debut in AEW, what was the highlight of the Wrestle Dream for you? Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., and Swerve Hangman.
Yeah, Swerve getting that win was a highlight for me.
That was cool.
Blake here asks, who should win the Dynamite Diamond Ring this year?
MJF.
Blake suggests Swerve, and I think that'd be pretty awesome if Swerve were to win the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
That'd be cool, but I want MJF just to always have that thing.
Until he leaves for WWE.
He takes it to WWE.
Oh, that's a good question here from Alex Foster. It says, if Steve was in charge of main roster and Larson was in charge of NXT, what communications issues would arise, considering they seem to happen all the time?
I would keep that tradition alive.
We communicate exclusively in GIFs. That's it. And you have to try to figure out what the other person is getting at.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Perfect. Like what GIF would I use for a call up? Like I'd send a GIF of the wrestler and you'd be like, okay, Axiom. I'd send an Axiom GIF, and then I would send like, I'd send a Dick Togo mask.
That's good.
Like you're gonna take off his mask.
Yeah, there you go. That's
kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I imagine at some point you have to get really creative with it.
What do you think I would mean if I sent you a GIF of Roxanne Perez.
Okay.
And then a GIF of Mox losing to Yano.
Roxanne's losing to Yano on main roster.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're bringing in Yano. Sprague says, do you guys think Sting, Darby Allin, and Sexton Hardcastle will be intriguing trios titles contenders?
No.
Yeah, I don't mean to be kind of a dick about it, but not really.
No.
I don't like that.
It seems like if Edgy Adams is going to team up with anybody, it's probably going to be FTR because they're like really good friends.
They love those guys. Yeah, he's going to be the new Punk. It's going to be
rated FTR.
That's perfect. Rated FTR.
Yeah. Again, another situation. Out goes Punk, someone takes the spot.
Or rated FT era.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be the era guy.
Yeah, he wants to be the new era guy.
FT error? No.
He should get a promotional deal. Sponsorship with New Era caps.
You keep on talking about the hats, dude. It's not
falling flat with you, huh?
It's fallen pretty flat. We can move on though. It's okay. You know, because my love for you is very deep.
No, how deep? How deep is your love, Steve?
You really, really need to learn. Lavender says, how do you think WWE could have more effectively used John Cena in this short run? I don't. I think they've used him as effectively as possible. Yeah, I like that he's not in a story talking about rolling up Roman Reigns. Oh, Maggie's got a good point. We can communicate in iPhone stickers.
That's good, too. I need to update my iOS before I can do that.
Oh, please do, man. You need to send me some stickers.
I'll do that tonight.
I've been using
a picture of my dog with their underbite.
Yeah, I've been using the one of you with the captain's hat, like your nautical attire.
Yeah,
I've been using that sticker on everybody.
Oh, yeah. How's that going over?
Oh, really good. People love it. They think it's bee's knees.
Yeah.
Jonathan Vieira, are you reading any questions on Patreon?
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Jonathan,
I'm still really stung by the New Era thing.
I'm sorry.
I'm joking. I was up till 12:30 last night. I know you're up late too. I'm just tired.
Man, I know. Hey, I was watching another episode of that Encounter. I watched 2 more episodes of that Encounter show.
I watched the first one. I was kind of unimpressed with that.
Watch the second one. The second one's actually a lot more interesting.
All right, because the first one is like people have seen lights in the sky. Well, I know that.
Dude, no, this is fucked up. There was like a school in, I don't know, one of the countries in Africa, where there was like this school where 60 kids saw a UFO that came down and a straight up alien came out and fucking looked in the eyes of one of these kids. And this girl was like, this happened 25 years ago. And she was like, he was speaking to me telepathically. Whoa. But all the kids saw it. And they were all like, they all talked about like through the rest of their lives, everybody was shutting them down, being like, no, he didn't see this. But they all like drew the same images and had this shared experience. And there's like one of the kids grew up and he's like a big naysayer, but you can tell there's something off about him. Like he doesn't want to believe it, or he was so scarred by the experience after the fact that he wants to deny it now. It is actually the more one of them. Like it's much more interesting.
That's actually an interesting story as opposed to people who saw a bunch of lights in the sky.
Yeah, but still, the one that dude in that one that saw like got the radar info about the one that went really quick.
Yeah. That was like the lone interesting bit that took about 90 seconds of the hour-long show.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. It's called Encounters. It's very.
I'm happy that the second episode is better, so I'll check it out.
Check out the second. If you don't like that, then you're not going to like any of the other ones. Like the third one goes back to being sort of like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, it's like the stuff I've heard about plenty. Yeah. Timor asked, from a production standpoint, what are the main differences between being in the live audience for a WWE taping compared to an AEW one?
Not much. They both look small. I kind of want to see a little bit, like go back and watch a little bit of the replay and see if it looks as small as it usually
I think that's
does.
That's the way they build basketball arenas now.
That could be.
I think a lot of them are downtown, so they're on smaller pieces of land, so they got jam as much as they can. That's why the upper decks are so steep. Even the lower bowls these days are steeper than how they used to be, I think.
Right, yeah.
Just the way they photograph it, I think, just makes the area and the space looks larger.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe some of the older school basketball arenas, like if you go to like the United Center, always on TV seems humongous on the inside. I remember watching basketball games from the Bulls games back in the day from the United Center, and that place just seemed huge.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it is relative to the ones they're building these days. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know.
One thing I noticed, I kind of remember about AEW, it felt like there was less downtime because usually when they have commercial breaks during matches, it's usually picture in picture. So it doesn't feel like there's much downtime during an AEW show. I didn't feel like.
That could be.
That could be. But I could be
Mordecai here with the super chat says, when do you think Christian will talk about Adam never meeting his father? Like immediately Wednesday?
Yeah, it's going to happen right away. That's Christian's thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Luis here says, what are some random feuds you'd love to see?
Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston.
I think that'd be a great feud.
Right? Sounds amazing.
Some great promos, hard-hitting matches. Justin Sider asks, who should MJF hire to fill in as his tag team partner while Adam Cole is out?
Samoa Joe.
Cole Carter.
Oh, the reality, Zach Clayton.
No, but no.
Well, why does Cole Carter work then?
Because he has Cole in his name.
Oh. Adam Copeland.
Yeah, Adam. Sure.
Adam.
Hangman Adam Page. His name's Adam, too.
His name's Adam. Brian Cage.
Yeah. No.
That's going to do it for the show, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. More than a woman.
More than a woman to me.
Ba, 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 da, da, da.